Greetings, which I believe is one of the most universal and oldest keys to human interaction, are therefore as much of a dying aspect of interpersonal engagement as is the commitment among modern mankind to cultivate peaceful coexistence. So let us also be able to look at those attributes of African culture that are actually uplifting and those that promote peaceful coexistence. Yet, there should be no excuse whatsoever why the new figured marvel of social media, Facebook, we'll just rush to the Facebook instead, and you cannot say good morning to a fellow Kenyan, but in the Facebook, my goodness, that's where you are. I'm actually in the Facebook, and others are following me on the Twitter. This is a new social order. Why YouTube, MySpace, among others. We should actually be able even to find more creative ways of bridging the disconnect in terms of human behavior. But these are wonderful innovations. And therefore we realize that you're running away from saying what is proper, what is actually from your village, and then you find that within the international media you have to chat, you Twitter, you have to do lots of other things. Young leaders, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my remarks, may I urge you to embrace a spirit of service in every course or forum you are deployed to do. Remember that the heart of a servant in you should complement the makeup of great leadership that you are all called to. This is my favorite subject. This, to me, is my philosophy. That you want to create in you the next generation of leaders in Kenya and in Africa should be true servant leaders. If you are a servant leader, you cannot look down upon your fellow Kenyan. In fact, you think it is your burden to be your brother's keeper or your sister's keeper. If you're a servant leader, you're not going to believe that the next president must be from your community. You're going to look at the bigger picture. A servant leader will transcend tribe. And you know our biggest problem in this country today is tribe. We keep on preaching the tribe during the day, and at night we retreat to our tribal corners. Now the challenge to you, the Kenyan young leaders, is please rise above that. Look at the issues. Look at leaders in the face. And depending on what you think about them, say, we think you have acted in a manner demeaning of the dignity of this country. You are preaching negative tribal politics. If we overcome this challenge, the future, my friends, truly belongs to you. Because looking at you, when I started by asking how many of you are Kenyans, the tragedy is I cannot tell who is Luo, who is Kikuyu, who is Kamba, who is Luya, who is Kalenjin. You all look like Kenyans to me. Why don't you clap for yourselves? And yet we know that is where the problem lies. Therefore, a servant leader will never engage in corrupt practices, will never preach day in, day out of the need to improve on governance. The next, and the servant leader in you will say a deliberate no, even if it is within their sight, and seek to live it. Seek to live that. Right now, in this country, you know there's great debate. And I really appreciate the fact that Kenyan people, today, they abhor, every one of them. If you're connected with corruption, whether it is right or wrong, Kenyans tell you, you are corrupt. In the court of public opinion, a lot of leaders are standing accused because Kenyans have become impatient with corruption. I want to urge you, as the next generation of leaders, to determine from today onwards that you will say no to corruption, because that is what has denied us the status of a career, to which I referred to early in the morning. Because of misapplication of our national resources, because of outright theft of public resources. If you say no to corruption, you will truly have become a true servant leader. Therefore, I want you to join me this afternoon in accepting that one wonderful ideology is that of servant leadership in Kenya, in East Africa, in the rest of the African continent. And I have no doubt that the world will begin to flock to Africa. Whereas my friend said, you know, in this country, the Great Rift Valley is actually the cradle of mankind. The earliest discoveries of human existence are in this country, in the Great Rift Valley. The beauty of that wonderful Rift Valley, which cuts across, I think, from Middle East right through Africa towards the south. The beauty of the African continent. Even the weather. Let us begin to get things right. I hope you have listened to me this afternoon and you looked at me. If Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka can be vice president, believe you me, you can be president and even more. And if you do not have to be vice president or president or whatever your profession, grab hold of it, because that is what God in his wisdom. Remember, it's one family under God. God in his wisdom will have given you a profession. Uphold it. Including, these days you don't hear people talk about professional ethics. Everybody is in this attitude of how much they can amass within the shortest period of time. And that is in contradistinction to the principle of servant leadership. May God bless you and give you a very successful summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we applaud the Vice President for giving us those words of wisdom? Thank you so much for your